Millions are going to be affected by this. We're talking about excess stimulus funds, food benefits, student loan debt forgiveness. That's just some of the items on the list of 10 different things that have been proposed just recently, just yesterday, by House Republicans to get spending cuts in the debt ceiling negotiation talks. Now, I let you know here on the channel, Social Security and Medicare, they're saying, is off of the table. There will not be spending cuts to those programs, but I know a lot of my viewers, they receive some of the benefits that are on this list. I'm going to go through the entire list, let you know the amounts so you know what's taking place. Now, just to clarify, they have got to come to some sort of an agreement here and soon, because we've hit the debt limit and the default date, we're hearing they're calling it the X date, is going to be sometime in June. And if they do not come to an agreement before then, it is going to be economic disaster. This will not only impact everyone in our nation, but ripple effects will be felt throughout the globe. So they have got to come to an agreement on something here soon. Now, just to clarify, this was just a proposal that was released yesterday. This is not official or done yet, but these are some of the items that are likely going to be coming up here for spending cuts. And like I said, this is going to be impacting millions of people across the nation. So some of these might be included, some of them might not. But these are the 10, so you know what's going on, what's taking place. I'm going to share with you the latest. Now, before we dive in, if you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on everything, do me a quick favor, smash the like button. Just takes a second, helps me out with the algorithm. And if you want to stay up to date and you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and we're going to dive into this article. I'm going to link this in the description, put it on the screen, and read right from it so you can see that it's the latest. And also, a lot of people have been asking me about the comprehensive list of over 100 different stimulus checks across the nation for states, cities, and counties. That's available right now at www.reliefroadmap.com if you're interested. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into this article, get you caught up on this new proposal released for some sort of negotiation on the debt ceiling, but it will require spending cuts, and these are the 10 items currently in negotiations. All right, so link in the description below to this article just came out yesterday evening, and so did this proposal. So this is pretty much breaking news. Republicans on the House Budget Committee on Wednesday, yesterday, floated a list of a sample budget cuts that they could back in exchange for raising the nation's debt ceiling. The tentative list, put out by new committee chairman Jody Arlington of Texas, could form the basis of an eventual proposed accord to avoid a market-rattling U.S. default sometime this summer. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is hoping to meet with President Joe Biden as soon as this week to continue talks on raising the $31.4 trillion U.S. limit, which was reached in January. So just last month, we hit that debt ceiling. Biden, in his State of the Union address to Congress on Tuesday, vowed to prevent any default. He also lambasted some of the Republicans for proposing to terminate Social Security and Medicare unless reauthorized by Congress. And if you missed the drama on that, check it out in my previous videos. House budget Republicans, in their press release, called on the White House to join the GOP in coming up with a bipartisan solution to prevent insolvency in Social Security and Medicare trust funds, which are projected to hit funding crises in 2035 and 2028, respectively. And we've heard it's very likely even going to be sooner than that. Now, Democrats should stop preying on the fears of seniors by accusing Republicans of cutting Social Security and Medicare and instead work with us on bipartisan solutions to address the insolvency. A press release said the only way to avoid benefit cliffs are to raise taxes, which the GOP has ruled out, curb benefits, restrict eligibility, or, in the case of Medicare, curb healthcare costs. Now, Arlington is beginning the process of assembling a budget outline that he hopes can pass in the House in April. His press release outlines hundreds of billions of dollars of potential savings for debt ceiling deals. Now, while substantial, the savings would likely fall short of the goal of cutting the spending by $1 for every $1 of increase in the debt ceiling over a 2-year period. Now, the chairman said that he hadn't yet run the proposal by McCarthy as possible offers to Biden in the talks. People keep asking me to identify cuts, and this was to show that I can immediately come up with some common sense cuts off the top of my head, he said. The cuts include potentially bipartisan ideas like ending improper payments and fraud in food stamp programs and clawing back $100 billion of unspent coronavirus funds, aka a part of that $500 billion I've been letting you know that's just sitting there. Other ideas are likely to meet greater Democratic opposition. These include stronger work requirements for able-bodied adults on food stamps and welfare, capping Obamacare subsidies at a lower income level, and rescinding the Biden student loan forgiveness program. Also targeted are items treasured by liberals, like environmental justice programs, postal service electric vehicles, low-emission buses, and legal assistance for asylum seekers. The press release calls for ending woke items like a Michelle Obama nature trail in Georgia. All right, you guys, so here is the list of the 10. Take a look. The estimates for the cuts supplied by the committee span $404 billion for student loans. And just to clarify, that is enough to send out that third stimulus check of $1,400. That price tag was a little bit over that, but it was around $400 billion. And that is what they're proposing in cuts for the student loans. And that is still in court as well. A lot of people have been asking me about the student loan debt forgiveness. We're going to be seeing. I will keep you up to date. Now, next up, $281 billion for improper payments made by federal agencies. $100 billion for unspent pandemic funds. They want to touch that $500 billion that's still just sitting there available for use. $87 billion for the Environmental Protection Agency. $70 billion for reducing food stamps and child tax credit fraud. So $70 billion would be coming out of that. $65 billion from lower Obamacare cap. $13 billion from certain green vehicles. $10 billion from legal assistance for migrants. $6.6 million for woke projects, and tens of billions from reinstating work requirements in welfare programs such as food stamps. So there's some of the items that we have on this list. Now, we don't have a whole lot of details on these. Like I said, as more come out, I'll let you know. But you can see these are some pretty significant amounts, and they're talking about using these to cut back and come to some sort of debt ceiling agreement. These are the items they're saying they're willing to talk about, so that way we do not have a default. Now, the Budget Committee's top Democrat, Brendan Boyle, assailed the proposal. Why is it that whenever tough choices are required, Republicans want working families and children to make the sacrifice? Why not keep our children fed and our families healthy and instead work with Democrats to ensure the wealthy pay their fair share in taxes, he said in an email statement. And again, this just came out, and there you can already see one of the responses and some pushback on these 10 items, which we're very likely going to be seeing here from Democrats. They are not going to want some of these to go through, but we will see, because it's very possible some of these are going to be getting some spending cuts, and it's going to be needed to come to some sort of an agreement. So I'll keep you up to date on what's included and what's not. And also, as we heard, Social Security and Medicare not included. And a lot of people responding to the State of the Union address on Tuesday from the president, as he had mentioned those items, saying Republicans wanted to make cuts to those. And that's coming right after we had heard about a week prior from Kevin McCarthy and Republicans that no, there will be no spending cuts. It is off the table. But he still brought up that old proposal from Rick Scott saying that they wanted the program to sunset and every 5 years have it evaluated for more funding. But that is not in the talks right now. But at this time, it has come to the forefront, and we will see, because they've got to reform the system. As you saw in the article, Social Security, Medicare, the solvency is going to be running dry here very soon. They've got to do something, but these are the 10 items that are currently on the chopping block right now that Republicans are saying that they'd be willing to negotiate to lift the debt ceiling. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date. Now, in addition to that, if you missed my videos from yesterday, you're going to want to check them out, as we saw the responses to the State of the Union address, not only in the address where things just erupted, but also afterward. Republicans responded left and right with their disapproval of the president's statements, and it was pretty intense. Now, if you missed those, check out the videos right here, and you can get caught up on the latest. And also, as more unfolds on these and Social Security and Medicare, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. That is the latest. I will let you know so you can know what is going to be affected. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.